Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with none other than Sam Jones.
Hi, Michelle.
How are you, Sam? How do you like my side, Sam?
Good, thanks. We're just arguing about which side to yeah. No.
Yeah, we definitely were.
Well, it's okay. Look, the poster's there. It's brilliant. Good sides.
Okay. Anyways, Joyce has got a big fight this weekend against Usna. Hey over there. They just be hating. Well, I'm sorry.
Get back to your interview.
Yeah. And then we'll swap.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's got a big fight this weekend against. Yep, he's a big man. You were just shaking his hand.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
His hands actually look like a bunch of bananas. It's the biggest hand I've ever seen. His hand, it's like an arcade claw. It's massive, huge hand. But yeah, he's a nice enough guy. But he's going to get knocked out on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. You are easily one of the most vocal managers I've ever met in my life.
Really?
Let's go back to the last fight that.
Stavern.
Stavern. Let's talk about your best friend, Stavern. When you guys, you weren't in the locker room, were you? When he came in to greet Joe.
On the way out, I did see him, and I kind of shook hands with him and said good luck. And I also sent him a message as well on Instagram just to wish him well and wish him well, because there's never any hard feelings after the fight. It was just what it was. I just told the truth, and he didn't like it, but.
Did he reciprocate? Was he cool? Like he was like it was.
Of course,
okay.
yeah, of course. He's not going to hold. I don't think he's hold grudges on me, is he? Like I think I just probably got him on the wrong day. got him on the wrong day.
It's easy to do that with you, though.
Why? What are you saying?
I'm just saying you're very outspoken.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to ruffle his feathers, but he's just not happy on that day. I can't really do that to Alexander. He wouldn't understand me anyway.
Yeah.
His translator needed a translator.
Again, you know what I want to ask you? Before we get onto the topic of the Anthony Joshua replacement, I want to ask you about what was the deciding factor on why you guys left Big Bear and Abel Sanchez, because I know you guys were quite happy there. Last time I saw you, you were like, we've rented this place for a year.
Yeah, we're happy. It was always happy there, but Joe, when Joe first turned professional, he inherited Ismail Salas from David Hay. You can't really turn that down when you just turn over pro, and Salas has trained, I think, 19 world champions, so we had a great trainer with Salas. But he went into semi-retirement. Then after that, we wanted Adam Booth. Like Adam Booth will tell you this. We tried to get with Adam Booth, and that's no disrespect to Abel Sanchez, because he was never he done a great job with Joe. But we wanted our guy, and when he became available, we had to take it because we just think it's going to better Joe's career.
Okay, so there was absolutely nothing that happened. It was just that. Did Adam just sort of become available, and you guys were like, let's take the opportunity?
Yeah, I got in touch with Adam again. It was just having a chat, seeing how Josh Kelly. I know Josh Kelly, see how he was getting on, and we got talking about Joe. And look, it's happened. That's boxing. You've got to make not harsh decisions, but I suppose harsh decisions in boxing. If it's like if someone's not doing if to get him where we needed to get him to, we believe Adam Booth's the man, and we're already seeing improvements already, which hopefully you might see some on Saturday, but by July the 13th, when Joe's next scheduled to fight, you're going to see all the improvements.
Now, when Jarrell Big Baby Miller failed his drug test,
pharmacy. Yeah. He is.
Yeah, well, okay, so when he failed his drug tests, and it was made very clear that they needed a last-minute replacement, I know that you both you and Joe threw his name into the mix, but you didn't get it. Why was that? Was there a specific reason? Did they tell you anything that we're unaware of?
I've said this before. We're not saying that Joe deserves a title shot just yet, because there's people above him, your Dylan Whites of the world, they're above Joe, but they said heavyweights come forward. Joe rang me. It wasn't me that said it, but I was thinking, Joe, we can take this fight. But Joe rang me and said, I'll fight Anthony Joshua. They need a heavyweight. Joe's a credible name. Anthony Joshua sparred thousands of rounds with him, 50-50 spars. Ask anybody that knows anything that they had very, very competitive spars. And we put our name forward. Joe is known in America. They said that Joe's not known enough in America to take the fight. Joe is more well known, and believe me, Joe would put. This is no disrespect to Andy Ruiz, because people are saying, "Oh, he's fat, Andy Ruiz," but Andy Ruiz can fight. Andy, people shouldn't disrespect the fact that he's fat. He's just he couldn't lace Joe Joyce's boots. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion, and and that's just the way it is. But Ruiz's style is going to be tailor-made for Joshua. Yeah, he's got fast hands for a couple of rounds, but as soon as Joshua gets into his rhythm, it's going to be an early night.
How much longer do you reckon that we would, I guess, wait before Joe gets thrown into the mix with the world champions?
Well, we will take fighters are turning down world title shots. Joe's in the business to take world title fights. So if that was presented to him, we'll take it next. But until that time comes, we'll keep doing our thing, and we'll get ourselves to a mandatory position. But Joe isn't in this business to turn down world title shots. This is serious talking. We're not. You got Ortiz turning down 7 million, which I kind of believe. I know that I've said this before. I believe the reasons why he turned it down is very suspicious more than anything. He's turned that fine, and you've got the Polish Kawanaki that's turned down the fight when he says he hasn't got enough time to prepare himself. And Kawanaki can really fight as well, and he's a hard man, but he looks like Barney off The Simpsons. His body does. So he's
as Tyson Fury says, the fat boys can fight.
100%. That's what I mean. But he can't say, "Oh, I've not got time to do." You had 7 weeks to prepare yourself for the heavyweight championship of the world. These people aren't serious. We were saying Joe lives like an athlete all year round. He's ready for those opportunities, and that's all we said. We would take the fight. We never said we deserved it. We just said we will take the fight.
And lastly, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on Deontay Wilder's recent comments about, wanting a body on his record. Now, we know he's mentioned that in the past. This was like, what, a year or so ago?
Again, has he actually said it?
It actually has come up again, which is why
there was an altercation in a hotel, wasn't there? I think he was telling me that I think that somebody in his team, or whether it was Brazil, sucker punched his brother, and I think his brother got up and retaliated.
I don't know the full details, but there's a lot of.
I was told by somebody that's close to Wilder's cat. I've met with Deontay a few times. He's the nicest man you'll ever come across. Really, really nice, respectful man. But that's outrageous. You can't be saying stuff like that because it puts boxing in a bad light. Like people that don't really support boxing, they'll be like, that's like a thug kind of comment. Like you can't be saying stuff like that. And I think maybe after the fight, when the tension's over, he'll realise that he was bang out of order, and hopefully, God forbid anything did happen. Imagine how he'd feel. Like your mind would be tainted forever. So like you can't be saying stuff like that.
I think during media week, he just sort of has like this sort of his alter ego comes out, and he just starts saying things. Because I agree, I don't think that he actually means any of that, but it is a bit shocking nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to say, really. I can't, as I say, nice man, I know Deontay Wilder through Malik Scott. As I say, Malik's one of my good friends. Nicest guy, but I think he's in fight mode as well. I think he's in fight mode, and he's saying stuff like David Hay, when he said about the things with Tony Bellew, I'm going to put you in hospital. It's all the same thing. It's built up, but then after the fight, I think hopefully they'll hug and embrace, and they'll have to have a good fight, and then that'll be the end of that, and he'll apologise.
Leave it all in the ring.
Because I think Brazil's got two kids as well. Like imagine their kids are hearing that. I don't think they'll be watching the interviews, but it's horrible to hear that. 'Cause it's their dad.
Right.
Their dad, and Wilder's got kids as well, so you can't be saying stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Nice speaking with you again.
Cheers.
The always outspoken Sam. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it in the title.
Yeah.
Outspoken Sam.
I don't mean to be, but it's just a habit.
God bless you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you as always, and I'll catch up with you later on this week.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Bye, fight fans.
Cheers.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else